New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Your hosts are two girls who believe that life is awesome, that laughter heals, and that it's possible to find deep spiritual insights in everyday experience.
Here come the girls. It's more than practical. Here come the girls. Way more than merely factual. If you want to know the secrets of a life, it's free. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically.
Hello. Hello, Dr. Natasha. Hello
Hi,
and welcome.
Robyn.
Welcome everybody to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. We are your hosts from two different sides of the world. One in Queensland, Australia, and the other in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So we are, as it said in the little intro, two girls who believe a lot of things like that, and we're here to talk about them and see what you believe and what you want to talk about. So, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Happy that it's Friday here. Looking forward to the weekend.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
How are you?
I'm good. Life is so full, you know. It's
I
like
know.
when you said looking forward to the weekend, it's like they don't get much slower. I mean, it used to be like everybody looked forward to the weekend because you kind of slowed down. You did something different outside of the norm, you know. That's when everybody got up and went to a 9 to 5. I mean, now people do so much at home and in different
I know.
places.
It's true. It's true. I like a lot of people, I work from home. So looking forward to the weekend means locking my office and not going in it for any reason whatsoever.
Wow, that's very,
Yes.
you know your boundaries.
Yeah, well, I've been working from home since before COVID. So,
Right.
my private practice, I've run from my home for a long time. And now that I also see people in my home, not just via telehealth, but also I have like a whole setup to see clients in person. It's really like I don't go into those spaces on the weekend, like whatsoever.
No, that's great.
Whatsoever.
That's great. I think for me, working from home, it's harder to do that because I don't go in my office. I mean, I do go in my office to do clients and things like that, but I do so much other stuff that's work that like to turn off work, it's really hard. And my husband suffers from the same thing because we work together. So there's not a time where at any given moment where one of us doesn't have an idea about something that's work related, you know, and we're like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you that such and such and so, and then, you know, before you know it, we're in work mode.
But you all are both creatives as well, right? Like you're both, at least I know you're creative, and I can only imagine how that is for minds that are driven by the creative process. You know, I mean, I think ultimately we're all creatives in different ways, but you know what I mean? Like for me, it's like, I'm not seeing clients.
I totally get it. Yeah, it's a good boundary. I want to say hi to Diego Reyes out there, who thank you for those compliments. So good to see you, sort of, kind of, in spirit. And Diego is an amazing person doing amazing work as well, and in the world and out at the Cedar Ridge camp with kids and all over the place. And he's a delight. He used to be here and now he's there, and just good to know the people anchoring love on this planet. It's good person to have out there. So thanks, Diego.
Yes. Every anchor of love we needed. If there's ever been a time where we've been called to live through and as love, the time is now.
So true. So true. I was a little jealous watching you get ready and put on your makeup and everything. I'm like, oh no, girl, it is like 90 something here. And I was like, my hair is up in a ponytail and it's the no makeup look today.
Yeah, no, I don't, like I don't put on like foundation, like that kind of makeup, but I have got to put lipstick on or something to moisturize my lips, because I have beautifully luscious lips that don't look very nice when they're not moisturized. So yes, the makeup is very, very light because I can't stand makeup on my skin. So it's mostly my lips and my eyes, that I put a little attention to. So no, and I hear you with the hair as well. Like I had extensions for a long time, but I took my braided extensions out and just decided to braid my own hair. And it feels so much better.
Natural.
Oh, natural.
All right. Oh, Diego says he just picked up Reverend Sonny Cantrell to take her to do a big wedding. Big love going out to Elijah and his partner this weekend as they tie the knot. These are all CSL minister people, and just sending a lot of love, more love, all about the love. And Reverend Sonny Cantrell is one of my most favorite people on the planet. So you can tell her that, Diego, if you see her, that I actually announced it to the world. She's actually been on our show, not this show, but the other show. And she's just, what I love about this station and the people that we hang out with and the work that we do is that it really does allow us to be in connection with so many people that are really consciously doing great work on the planet. That are really that's their calling, that's their goal, and it's great to be associated with that. So
that's beautiful.
Yeah. So big hugs to everybody out there. So, well, I was deciding if we should go right into our card pool. I think we should.
Okay.
Because
you have the
talked
cards,
enough about other things. So here we go. So what we do in this segment is we pull a card, something to show us a sign of what we need to know, what we need to look at, what we need to look towards, what we've been dealing with. We never know exactly what's going to come up, but as metaphysical beings, we like to give a lot of meaning or some meaning or to what we see as signs in the road. So I am picking today the Soulful Women deck, and I am shuffling the cards, and when Natasha says stop, it probably will.
Have you started shuffling?
Yes, I'm shuffling.
All right, go ahead and stop.
The card is self-renewal. Self-renewal. And it says, as I clean out old energies, I have more space for that which wants to be birthed into my life. Yeah. That's interesting. I think that's interesting. I mean, yes, I agree with that. And I think it's interesting in that, in what we were going to talk about.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. I think that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
It sort of is in alignment with our topic
right
today. Yeah. So.
And our topic for the day is basically, I can't believe it's June. It's the middle of the year. It's the middle
Of
of the year.
2025. I feel like I have to say that. It's June of 2025. Like I
that.
feel like that's the part that still blows my head.
That's a whole different topic. But yeah, but it is the middle of the year. Like that's just so incredible to me. That's so incredible. Anyway, so that's our topic. So this is about self-renewal. I'll read you a little of what it says in the book. It says, I love to declutter my life, to cleanse and purify my home. I benefit from cleaning out my closets and drawers and from letting go of things that no longer work for me. I find ways to create closure in relationships and end connections that no longer serve my highest good. Decluttering is a sacred practice for me, a time to reboot and renew, a time to release old mindsets and outmodeled beliefs. I value these periodic cleanups and clean outs. These are special times when I say goodbye to old identities and rebirth myself, making space for the new. I allow my intuition to guide me in what to keep and what to let go. In this way, it becomes an effortless and enjoyable process.
Yeah, it also, just thinking about just decluttering itself, like as a physical practice of like clearing out physical spaces. I know my mom always did a big decluttering effort when the seasons changed, right? So I know some people are familiar with things like spring cleaning, but in my house, it was like we did a big spring clean, we did a big winter clean, we did a big fall clean, we did a big, so, and it's winter here, like, and I feel it. Oh, I hate being cold, but it's winter here. And I've definitely just been like, okay, it's that time to do the seasonal declutter. So, yeah.
Well, and I think, I think we're so conscious now of really, in a different way, what does and doesn't serve us. I don't know. I should speak for myself. I know I am. I know, like, for sure, when I'm thinking about like, when I'm having a party or I'm doing something, I'm thinking about party favors or things like that. I'm like, who wants this? As cute as it is that night and as poignant and as relevant to the theme, I don't want the 99-cent store New Orleans jazz beads to take home because I don't know. You know what I mean? Like then they hang on my door and then and then, you know what I mean? It's like there's so many little things and tchotchkes, and I'm like, I don't. Does that make sense?
It does. I actually, I can't have lots of clutter builds up. I start to itch. So I just, like I'm allergic to clutter. But no, I get it. And I'm allergic to tchotchkes. Like I don't like lots of, even, oh God, just thinking about makes me itch. Just like households where there's just like
Stuff.
bundles of like things. I mean, I get it. Like they're, maybe memorabilia or something, but Lord.
Yeah. I mean, and unfortunately, it's like, I remember everything. So I'm like, oh, look, that's what Susie gave me at her 6th birthday party when she blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, let it go. Susie doesn't care. Nobody cares. I mean, but like, I remember like the story behind it. I'm like,
Yeah.
So I'm like trying to figure it out metaphysically, right? I'm like, well, yeah, things have energy. And so that brings me to a place of thinking about love or people or, so my new thing is like, I look at things and I'm like, okay, if you were moving to Costa Rica, would you take that with you? There's pretty much not a lot I would take, So it's an interesting thing. So, but Yeah. So
Yeah.
go ahead.
I don't know. I was just thinking about my daughters because, like, I remember, like, when, they started, like, kindergarten and preschool, and they do all their little projects. And, I started getting, like the macaroni art, it's their first artistic expression or their handprint. And then it just starts to pile up the stuff. And my daughter still brings me stuff. And I feel like that's the stuff I struggle to get rid of. Like she brought me home a rock yesterday. Like she's just a rock.
Right.
And I was like, oh, sweetie. She was like, Mom, I thought this was for you. And she like drew some stuff on it. And now I have so much of this kind of stuff that I'm just like, I really want to throw some of it out. It's just so
You got to be careful. Yeah, you got to be careful. It's like you got to go back to like the old stuff that they're not registering anymore. But if you got rid of the rock, she'd be like, where'd my rock go?
Let me tell you something. They don't remember she made me this little caterpillar cardboard cutout with these little pom-poms on it. And she made it, and she's like, Mom, it's to watch over you at nighttime. And it was sitting on my bedside. And then I had to put it away because I had no room for it. And she hasn't asked about it.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah. So
it's good. And that won't give them boxes of things to have when they move out. Like all their baby stuff. All right. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk about, it's June, the middle of the year. What does that mean? What does that bring up for you? What have you done? Are you on track where you wanted to be? Is there something you'd like to accomplish before the end of the year? Is there something that you feel like you haven't done? Like how do we balance out our thoughts about it being June and like this marker in time, the illusion that we're really marking time, and what all of that. So whatever's on your mind about that, come back, chat with us, let us know where you're at, where your thoughts are at, and we will see you right back here on New Thought Media Network.
Please help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for being part of the New Thought Media Network. Please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring.
Welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Your hosts are two girls who believe that life is awesome, that laughter heals, and that it's possible to find deep spiritual insights in everyday experience.
Here come the girls. It's more than practical. Way more than merely factual. If you want to know the secrets of a life that's free, listen to girls behaving metaphysically. Listen to girls behaving metaphysically.
We are back, and I am by myself, but I'm knowing that my co-host will come back to the platform. So, thank you so much for being here. I want to thank Ray Davis for our song, our little intro song. I'm just grateful that for him every time I hear it. He wrote it and sang it, and all that good stuff. And today we're talking about what it means that it's June. What does that bring up for you? What does that mean when the half of the year is gone? How does that affect you? What does that bring up? What does that bring up for you that half the year is gone?
Sorry, I was having technical difficulties.
That's okay. You're here now. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Life
So
in 2025.
What does that bring up for you that half the year is gone? Half of 2025 is over. We will be rolling into 2026.
Honestly, Robyn, I don't know what it brings up for me. I reflect on what my intentions were going into the year, which was, and they still are, to sort of live from a more heart-centered space. Like that was my intention going into the year. And more consciously. I feel like I live from a heart-centered space, right. But more consciously, just more consciously, bring more consciousness to it. And the other sort of intention was to drink less rum. So those were the two. I don't know. I'm doing pretty good with both. So.
That's a good sign. Well, I think for me, there's something about this is just me. When it becomes June, I know this is ridiculous, but this is the way my brain goes. Oh, it's almost Christmas. I need to start thinking about what I'm going to do for Christmas. And then I start backing it up to, oh, where are we going to be at Thanksgiving? Oh, what's going to be happening? That's how my brain goes. So when I get to June, that part gets a little scary. But like, if I'm just asking the question, I mean, for me, you laughing at me?
I'm reading the comment.
I didn't read it, but
the producer's saying his intention was to drink more rum.
Oh. Yeah. So I think what comes up for me though is just like checking in on where I'm at, because this year I didn't make resolutions or anything like that. Not that I do, but I always have some passing thought of something I want to accomplish. And for me, my goal was just that this was going to be the best year ever. So I think about that all the time, even, when something goes wrong wrong, when something's not as enjoyable as I would like, how does this play into being the best year ever? And so it's interesting that half of the year is gone of my best year ever. And it's, I feel like it's, we all know that God has quite the sense of humor. And if you have an idea, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your idea, kind of thing. And so, yeah, my version of the best year ever might not look exactly the way I thought it did, although there are some fabulous pieces to it. and amazing things that are coming up. And, I just get that part of the best year ever for me was to really become conscious of what it would take to have the best year ever. As opposed to just going, hey, I'm going to have the best year ever and waiting for it to show up. Like, really, am I following my passions? Am I sticking with what I want to do? Am I being true to myself? Am I, how am I living? What,
So for you then, what are the markers then that you sort of look at to sort of like, okay, I'm in alignment with what my intention is?
That's a great question. I think part of it is just continuing to check in and declare what it is I'm wanting and what it is I'm seeing and how I look at that. Like having been, in the hospital and those kind of things, it's like I get that, that is part of me not doing what my passion is, or taking care of other people more than myself, or other people's dreams, or making their year the best year ever, and so it really becomes about checking in and being clear on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then, well, we're not talking about our year, but I mean, then like, so it's gone from being in the hospital to being to coming to I'm just deciding what part of the story I'm telling. To us being invited to Bali for Christmas, and going on a trip, and other people giving me trips to events and places and things like that. And every time something great like that happens, I'm like, oh, this is the best year ever. And so it's like finding that same energy for all the rest of it, like, being able to translate that into taking care of myself, having that be that kind of an exciting, adventurous thing. Does that make sense?
It does. It does make sense. It does make sense.
So how about you? What does it bring up for you that it's the middle of the year?
Yeah, I already said, I'm still where I am. Like, I didn't have very big plans for the year. I think I think I mentioned to you that I just, after my last visit home to the United States, I don't know, I just did not want to travel anywhere for a while. And I don't know why, because like normally I kind of love to travel, but life was like, no, just sit still. And my intention again was to be more mindful and conscious of what it means to live from a heart-centered place. And it really was to drink less rum. But it doesn't bring up anything for me. Like I feel like I have become more aware of what it feels like when I'm living like from a more mind dominated space than a heart dominated space. And the goal is not to like have one over the other, but I feel like the sweet wisdom spot is for them to be in my heart and my mind, to be in a beautiful relationship, of like a complementary relationship. And I can tell I have markers when I am out of alignment with that. But the good thing I think about setting the intentions is that I get that setting the intention at the beginning of the year is that I get reminders from the world, like from nature, from whatever. And one of my markers is, am I rushing? If I'm rushing, I know I am not in a heart-centered space. Like I know that. when my anxiety levels are heightened, I know that I am in a mind dominated space and I need to check in with what it is I'm believing about life. And so setting that as an intention has been really good. And I think, as you were saying earlier, how dear Mother God is funny. Like I feel like I've gotten really aware of how often I am not in a heart-centered space consciously. And so it's just been, like, what's the process of turning it around? That's been what it's, looked like for me. Like, how do I turn it around? How do I turn it around? And the other thing I think that's been really interesting about setting that as an intention is that I've become aware of just how much fear does enter my system. Than I realized. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a good awareness.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I think about too, like with these markers though, I mean, you're a mom, just the marker of like June, and it's like, for us, we have our godson who's, now going to be in 11th grade, like just those markers of time, those rites of passage that when school ends. I mean, don't you have that with your kids? You're like, oh my God, they're going to go into, this grade. And it's like, it's also kind of an alarm clock for growth of children anyway.
It is.
They're
It
getting,
is.
they're getting older.
That's so true. And it's so my youngest daughter lost a tooth yesterday. Oh my God, I have a collection of teeth. That because I'm the tooth fairy. And I won't get rid, like, we talked about clutter earlier.
Uh-huh.
I will not get rid of that. I don't know why.
So that's good. That's good.
So that way I'm weird. I have like my daughter, I don't know what this is. It's a thing that she goes through. I think it's usually an expression of her, like she's reached her tolerance level for frustration. And at school, she was just like cutting her hair off, just cutting it off. But she's not doing it now. But the last time she did it, she brought her hair home to me, and I kept it.
But I think that's normal.
Is that normal? I was like, I'm trying to chuck out all the pieces of cardboard art, but I'm keeping the teeth and the hair. I'm so weird.
Well, that may be a little weird, but I think it's normal that people keep the teeth and the hair and, like just the different, I mean, I don't know how much hair, but like, the first haircuts and the different things. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I keep it.
Yeah.
She brought it home. She even put it in a little hair tie. And she was like, Mom, I cut my hair again. And then I keep it. Weirdo.
I don't think it's weird. I mean, again, if we go to that place of, everything has energy, then it's the memory and that the thing holds, it brings you to a place when you look at it that, gives you some sense of love or some sense of being.
God. I don't know if I could possibly even love another human as much as I love Alexis and Macy. I tell you, there's something about, I don't know. I think I may have spoke to you about it, Robyn, at one point. Like, I actually went to therapy because I was like, is it okay that I love these people? I've never loved anybody this much. And I worry, like, can you overlove people? I remember being really worried about that, like around like when Alexis was like maybe 6 and Macy was like 3 going on 4. And I just was like, is it possible to overlove people? So I got nervous.
That's a great question, though. I think it's a great question. Is it possible to overlove somebody? I don't even really know the answer. I mean, I don't think you can love too much, but I understand where for some, at some situations it becomes, it may look like something else. It may not look like love. It may look like stalking, or I mean.
I know. That was it, because I, like, when my daughter was struggling with school, and so like every day I was like either up at the school or calling the school, and they're like, "Mom, she's gonna figure it out. She's gonna get it. I was like, like, yeah. I don't think I was over loving. I think I just wanted her to know I was there.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, I think that happens a lot, especially when kids are little, that you want to protect them, and you want to, them to know you're there,
I know.
But so then back to our topic, if you're out there and you're feeling, what does it bring up for you? What does it bring up for you? And if it does bring up like a thought of, I got to get this done, or I'm way behind at this. How do you move through that? How do you move through that? And is that, depending on what we're talking about, is that like a procrastination thing? Is that like a straight up fear of something? Like, are there goals? When you have a goal that doesn't get accomplished, is that a fear? Are you having a fear of success, or what? How does that work?
I don't know. Not to change the topic too much, like, and no, it's in alignment with the topic. I think I mentioned to you that I was seriously considering medical school because I miss studying something. Like, I want to be in some sort of formal study.
Right.
It's just that's how I work. But I didn't do it, and I didn't follow through on it. And it wasn't, for me, I realized it definitely was not about fear, but it was about like slowing my brain down and just getting a bit more heart centered, and really feeling into, okay, what is it that I really want to experience in this next stage of my life? And when I thought about it, it's really not medical school. It's like medical school was, it's interesting. It's a curiosity, but like, I understand, like, I understand where my training would have taken me. And so it made me stop, so I didn't go through with it. But what I discovered by not going through with it was just more clarity about what it is I want to experience in this next chapter of my life. So sometimes not going through with something is because there's something else that's wanting to move into your awareness, into our awareness.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's a great point. And I think that, what came to me while you were saying that is like, you were really prioritizing. And so I guess the difference comes in whether or not a person is in action some way around it. Like, if you just go into the place of, oh God, I've got so much to do, I haven't done this hasn't happened, and you kind of live in that place, then you're kind of staying in victim mode, or like, you're not active, you're not actively, but like what you said when you were thinking about medical school and everything, you talked it through in your head and you're with people, whatever, and you prioritize, no, this isn't what's important right now. There's something else that's important, whether it's seeking to emerge, or whether you just decided my time with the kids is going to be, more valuable right now, or whatever. But you made a different choice. And so I guess that would be the question that I would ask if you're in the middle of your year and you're wishing that other things had happened, or wanting to make things happen. Like, really, I would say probably the first step is to check back in and see if that's what's supposed to happen. If that's, really what you want, and, be real with yourself about why it hasn't happened. You know, if it's really what you want, why is it that, you know, if you really want to write that book and you want it done by the end of the year, why is it that you can't find time to write that book? You know, why is it that you can't, you know, there's not the space or there's not the time or whatever your reasoning is, you know, because obviously there's many different reasons that things don't happen the way we want, but it's always about what we do with it. So I think it's almost like re-examining your passion in a way, you know, like, and is it really your passion? I think like sometimes there's things that I think I need to get done, you know, okay, this year I'm really going to finish whatever, making a garden, you know, but I don't like gardening, you know, would I
That's
like
what
my,
I mean. Yeah, exactly. I think that's just, that's it right there. What you're naming is like, sometimes, yes, it is. I think there is the fear that comes up for people that we experience as procrastination for not getting things done. But sometimes life is really wanting us to pause and be like, is this what I even really want? Yeah. And, you know, is it even really what I want? Like, and not, you know, okay, so remember I said at the beginning, like my intention was be more heart-centered and to drink less rum.
right.
I drink a little less rum, but I don't drink a lot. And here's why. This is what I've discovered. It's only 50 calories for 25 meals. And so I'm like, that's so much better than wine. And it works for my diet goals. So it's okay. Anyways, like I think like it's good to like pause and think about why our goals are our goals or why our intentions are our intentions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think I think switching the topic a little bit, but not really, I think more now than ever, because we're all being asked to do more and to be more. And, you know, and so we're living in a time where there's plenty of opportunities to be socially active, socially engaged, you know, and whether it's out and about doing some kind of work or whether even just your own stuff that you do on social media and all of that. And it's like really just checking in. Like, that's another thing. I mean, like, I can't do social media right now, you know, and everybody thinks I love it because they think I'm really social and they think I like to be on the phone. Those are all not truths. I will just tell you that because I did it, because that's, you know, I show up that way or I have in the past. So then they think, oh, well, you're really good at social media. You blah, blah, blah. You know, and it's like I had to stop and go, I don't want to. I don't want to. Yes, it's nice to see what people are doing and chit chat sometimes, but I had to like take myself off of it, you know, and it's like, what's moving you forward? What is really, what will really stay in alignment with your goals and where you want to be, you know?
No, I hear you. I hear you. I actually don't want to know what's going on in people's lives through social media. Seriously, I took myself off Facebook a while ago now, and I really want to take myself off Instagram. I don't go to Instagram. I don't have the app anymore on my phone, but they won't send me my password so I can deactivate my account. So otherwise, yeah, I don't want, I'm not in, I do not, I don't want to be in any echo chambers. I don't like, I I don't want those types of relationships. I feel like I, and this was very intentional as well, but it began before the beginning of the year. I really want relationships in my life where we actually talk to each other, whether it's on the phone or we see each other. Um, I don't want the curated. experience of a person's life, you know.
Right.
And I don't want to curate my life for
Gotcha.
the world. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's important that we follow that. There's no shame in that. There's no, I get that people don't understand when they can't reach you by 9,000 different ways. You didn't see it. I put a post on Facebook. No, I didn't.
No.
So, I get it. But I really do think. I think it's part of the simplicity that we're being called to go within and really, decide what we're here for. Decide what we're here for and how to take that out into the world.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, let me ask you, are you in Australia having all that June 14th activity?
What's on June 14th?
It's called the No King Day. And
we
there's
do have a king.
Yeah, but you don't want it to be. They're doing like stuff.
Oh yeah.
Stuff all over.
I'm pretty sure they'll be doing something in solidarity with the U.S. Because a lot of people here don't really like Donald Trump. Like our elections, we were slated to have a conservative government, conservative parliament, and then like Donald Trump basically scared the bejesus out of everybody, and now we have like a liberal. We have liberal here means anyways would be the US version of liberals. Like the conservatives have been like almost booted out of parliament, booted out of our prime minister is the US version of a Democrat. Our parliament, it was so crazy and unexpected and such a blowout. And everyone knows that it is because what has been happening in the US has scared people here, right? And so it's like our version of Trump, they called him Timu Trump. He's not even, his party is not even represented in parliament, basically. That's how much they got voted out. So I guess I'm saying all that to say that, yes, there probably will be some solidarity protest with the U.S. But it's funny for us to talk about no kings because we literally have a king. We're literally a Commonwealth nation. So we have King Charles, but the king doesn't hold political power, So, but yeah, are you participating in any of those?
I'm not sure what I'll do. We'll see. We'll see what it's all about, how it shows up here.
Yeah.
But I can let you know next week.
Okay. Yeah. No, actually this weekend, I'm planning to just catch up with a new friend for some tea, hang out with my kids. I might take them to a movie. It's so important for me to balance the political realities we're living through with what matters the most to me, And I know I am a very deeply political person, very deeply political. And I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, we don't talk about politics, and be polite. No, I talk about politics, and it's okay. And because I can also let people just hold space for whatever their beliefs are. That's fine. I think the problem is when we stop talking to each other. And I don't want to do that. So, and it's important for me to balance that political awareness with staying connected to what's real. Yeah.
I think I think you hit it on the head. What, from our topic today, what the thing about being in the middle of the year, actually, I guess, that's where the scale is balanced in theory, that we're in the middle of the year. and really figuring out, what's important to you, and, letting go of old ideas. And, if you're beating yourself up about something, do some forgiveness work. It's perfect. You're right on time. Figure out what really needs to happen. And, as the card pull of the week said, self-renewal. Self-renewal. Let go of what doesn't serve you. Let go of those old thoughts.
Yeah.
Declutter your mind, and if you need to clean out a closet, do that. And really just think about what you'd like to create in the next, fortnight of your life.
And if
And then,
you are people out there do engage in those protests, let me just encourage you to take care of yourselves, to keep yourself safe and keep our community safe. And let's keep talking to each other.
absolutely. Absolutely. So that's a lot of homework to live back into and be the love. So
That's right.
take that all out there and love yourself. As Dr. Natasha was saying, love yourself, take care of yourself, and come back next week. And we'll see you right here on Girls Behaving Metaphysically.
Sending love to everybody.
Bye. Peace.
Bye.